Devils forced into massive decision. Told they were going to be different, that they are. Feels like a little bit more still can be done. Implications here, let's break it down. Welcome to Devils Digest. Thank you for joining us here today. Hopefully you'll join us for the rest of the summer and hit the subscribe button as we break down and talk Devils off-season. So, going into the offseason, we knew Tom Fitzgerald, he wanted a different look. He wanted to make a different team. Was busy last offseason, was busy this offseason. Looking at some of the moves that Tom Fitzgerald made, you felt good with your bottom six. Backup goaltender, yeah, that's good. 5 more years, Jake Allen looking good. But, when you looked at what the Devils wanted to do, where they struggled last season, the scoring was definitely down. They weren't maybe much of a speedy team. Definitely got better physicality-wise, but it wasn't that transitional game that you saw in 2023 when this was a top team in the league. Won a playoff series. So I think things that you were looking for in this offseason, maybe you wanted a little bit more when you're talking about star talent, top 6 forwards. Because you go and you take a look on how they started. Obviously, Jake Allen, good signing. A weird one. 5 years, $1.8 million per year. Basically got what he would have gotten in free agency. Just instead of over 2 years, they do it over 5. It does say something about what they think with Nico Daws in the future. I don't think there is a future here for him anymore, at least with the Devils. Connor Brown, definitely a good signing. Someone that kind of fits their style, the type of DNA that their core has. They want to be a speed team. They want to be good in the transitional game. Connor Brown fits just that. Those were the two, kind of bigger moves this offseason. Obviously, I was a huge fan of the Evgeny Dadonov signing. And then Cody Glass, you didn't really find your third line, fourth line center all season long. So at least now you have one of them. You're probably more so hoping for a fourth line role instead of a third line role, but you do have one of them. So the Devils take care of a lot of the bottom 6. They are a better team down there. A little bit more offense, creativity, better in the transitional game. They added the physicality last offseason. This offseason, they go back to kind of what their DNA is. They want to be good in the transitional game. They want to be quick. That's what they did in this offseason. So bottom 6-wise, the Devils look better. That was improved. It looked good from Tom Fitzgerald. Now, what this team really felt like it needed, what they needed to do better, what they struggled with last season, was that top 6 forward. You go ahead and look at their top 6. I don't think it jumps off the page. When you got Tyler Toffoli, you go back 2 seasons ago, when they got Tyler Toffoli, you were putting this top 6 up with teams like Toronto. It was a top 6 in the league. You had a ton of scoring power. You had point-per-game players. You had 30-plus goal scorers. This offseason, you were probably looking to add on to that. Timo Meier had a really big end to last season from March on, but he did struggle before that. Dawson Mercer, slated right now in the bottom 6. Does he take back over a center role? Well, then you're going to have Nason in your top 6. I've said before, I don't think Gritsuk in your top 6 would be a bad idea. I think he's someone who could come in. He has skill. He could play there right away. I'd like to see him kind of, get to work with some of these high-skilled players because that's the type of player that he is. You're looking for offense out of him. He's a younger player. He comes over from the KHL. Players over there, there's not as much defense in the KHL. It's a lot more of an open league. I would say with a player who's, younger and, has that offensive talent, you play to that. So, in my opinion, I'd like to see Gritsuk probably in the top 6. But it's either going to be someone like Gritsuk, Mercer, Nason, and then Palat's slide it up there. Do they move on from Palat? Still unknown. But with this team last season, they finished 20th in the NHL in terms of goals. You have a superstar center and another player puts up point per game, and Timo Meier is once a 40 goal scorer. And you're 20th in the league in goals. It seems almost like there needs to be some type of improvement. Because a year prior, it was seen. I mean, they went out and got Tyler Toffoli. There's a reason they went out and got Tyler Toffoli. Tom Fitzgerald said to himself, we need a little bit more offense in our top six. We need to get a little bit more scoring. I mean, obviously, when you could trade, Igor Sharangovich for Tyler Toffoli, you do it, but it seems like it was targeted. They wanted Tyler Toffoli. And when you move off of Tyler Toffoli and, you all of a sudden, there's no replacement. Nothing needs to be, done with that. You just kind of move off them and you go, well, we're going to get a little bit more physical in our bottom six or middle six, and that's going to work. Well, 20th in the NHL in goals. Basically snuck into a playoff spot because the conference was basically at an all-time low. 91 points to get into the playoffs. 42 wins this year for the Devils. Those aren't things that I think you were looking for, aiming for, and before the year started. Those weren't numbers where you were going to be, very happy. I don't think Tom Fitzgerald was going 42 wins, 91 points. He's definitely not doing it this year. This year they need to be a little bit better. They can't be a 20th team in the league in terms of goals and also finish with the top 3 power play. Seems like 5-on-5 they struggled. And now I know you can go injuries and you lose your star center and there's things going around. Erik Haula obviously hurt. Players getting older and declining in like a Tomas Tatar. But at the end of the day, you did have holes. Timo Meier did struggle until March. I think it was 19 games and he had 1 goal. Those type of things with players like that, players that you pay those $8 million to, you find ways to make them work. You build around those type of players. And now, Connor Brown and Giddy Dadonov, good signing for your bottom 6. Doesn't seem to really help out your top 6 too much. I've always said the best way to build depth, to build out your bottom 6, is by building your top 6. Because players move down the lineup. That's when you have good depth. It's not about getting a great third line center. It's about getting a guy who can play in the second line, playing on your third line. That's what good depth is. Stars win you Stanley Cups. That's why they get paid more. People talk about you got to have good depth. You definitely do. But if you don't have your stars, your depth doesn't matter as much. You need your stars. You look at Florida. Oh, what? They go and get Matthew Tkachuk. Well, that's 3 straight Stanley Cups? They've won 2 of them. Those type of things happen. The Devils need top 6 forwards. Now, obviously, the cap looks like a little bit of a problem. So do they move off Palat? Do they move off Dougie Hamilton? Those are questions, ways that you could maybe build cap. Tom Fitzgerald's job is to build cap room, is to field a good team. They don't have enough in the top 6 right now. Now, I would like to see Arsenij Grichuk play in the top 6. But even if he's in the top 6, there's still room there. I mean, it would be nice if Dawson Mercer could take the third line center role because that was a need last year. They never found out their fourth line center. One night it was Justin Dowling. Another night it was Kurtis Lazar. They finally brought in Cody Glass. I mean, there are holes on this team. It's not like where, 2 off seasons ago where we had, a pretty nice year and then we had Tyler Toffoli and it feels a lot better and you feel like, wow, this is a top offense in the NHL. I mean, now you're looking at it and you're going, well, we really need top 6 help. Last year, we struggled to score. We were shut out, I think, 7 times last year, 8 times last year. It didn't work well enough. So offensively, obviously, you're looking top 6. Defense, look, your defense is pretty much set. Obviously, you need to get a Luke Hughes extension done. I'm not too worried about that. It'll probably be an 8-year extension, especially with his brother. Quinn up in 2 years. You probably just want to get him signed because you're kind of trying with signing him. You're basically signing 3 of them. So I'm not too worried about that. Johnathan Kovacevic, hopefully gets back with the team soon. And then, defense, they're pretty much in terms of where their contracts are, where the money is. They're basically kind of full there. They know what they're doing there. We'll see if Simone Nemec takes another jump. They could move on from Dougie Hamilton. And, you're pretty much set at defense. You know what your defense is going to be. Defense, you look good. Jacob Markstrom, obviously, good trade last year. You get your first round pick for top 10 goaltending. I'll take it any day of the week. Jake Allen, 5-year contract extension, $1.8 million. Funky number. I said it says a lot, about how they feel with Nico Daws going down the line. Year 6, not able to take the backup role. That's why you get contracts like that. That's why you get 5 years, $1.8 million. They're weird contracts. It means that, you were a little bit desperate. Jake Allen made it work instead of taking all the money up front. He'll do it over 5 years. All in all, offseason Devils, look, you're looking for a top 6 winger. You might need to go get a third-line center depending on what you're going to do, what your plan is with Dawson Mercer. But, appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll see you guys all really soon.